What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Sit Down Saturday. Today we're going to talk about Fanstoys one more time, and I say one more time knowing that I have a Dummies coming talking about Fanstoys as well soon, but it's kind of in a different light. But I keep getting DMs about it. This is going to be like my final word on it, unless some major bit of news comes out regarding it. It's going to be a lot of speculation, rumors, me commenting on other rumors out there, things I've heard, etc. I know people have wanted me to chime in on it more than I already have, so I'm going to do it one more time. And while I do it, take into account some of the new sort of things that have come to light regarding it. But in order to do that, we first got to do a little bit of house cleaning. So the reflector. Apparently I missed some stuff. Sorry. I read the comments. You'll see all 30,000 of them that comment on it. If you bought the piece, take note of what they have to say. I thought it was a great set anyway, so it doesn't really change my opinion on it that much, other than to say it's even better than I thought it was, which is ultimately a good thing. The Cobra Commander upgrade set, it's expensive. And a lot of folks in those comments were upset about how expensive it is. Like, look, I get it. I understand. However, you're talking about time that people took to design, wear and tear on expensive equipment that they bought in order to produce, the time it takes to produce, editing it takes before you can produce, the cleaning of the products afterward, and then possibly the hand-painted elements after that. So I understand it's expensive, I agree, but there's a lot of work that goes into it. There's a lot of money on the line in regards to it, so what do you want? That's what it is. Or if it's not worth the price to you, don't buy it. I mean, that's how the market works, right? But I wish them the best. All good dudes. And certainly not raking in cash hand over fist, I can tell you that. We also talked about the reveals last week. A lot of people with varying opinions. One thing that we have seen this week is that just because a company was absent and wasn't producing things or revealing things in those slides doesn't mean they're gone. We saw nothing new from Iron Factory, but just this week we've seen new images of Iron Factory's Ultra Magnus. So the one element doesn't necessarily prove the other. Oh, and then lastly, the dummies and the community talk, and there's two things I need to talk about there. One, it couldn't have come in a more timely manner, right? You know, we recorded that over a month ago, and it just so happened to be when I could get it done, and my daughter could get the animations done, and it all lined up, and it happened to drop like on a magic day. Like there was something special about that. Secondly, we have come together to help raise money for people in the community. To be fair, we've specifically done it 3 times. All 3 of those times were for people deeply vetted in the community with significant loss. I just say that to say this: we don't do it for everybody. And for us to put our reputations out there, to ask that other people donate money out of their pocket to your cause, we have to know you, we have to trust you, and you have to be vetted in our circle to an extent, because unfortunately we have to protect ourselves from people trying to take advantage of kindness. It doesn't mean we're not willing to help in other ways. We are. But as much as I want to help everybody, I also have to protect the people that are participating as well. And then one last thing before we can get to it. The Dinobot blanket pre-order is still open. It is open for 1 more week. There's a Sherpa blanket and a woven blanket. Both are my art. A portion of the proceeds from both go to an individual I know who lost his life this year and left behind 2 beautiful daughters and a wife. The Sherpa is $135 shipped in the USA. The woven is $160 shipped in the USA. International folks, just ask for a quote and we'll get you something as accurate as possible. All you have to do is contact me at this email address, bobbyskullface@gmail.com. Let me know which one you're interested in. I'll let you know how to proceed from there, and then I'll be giving you updates until you get tracking. It is a pre-order. My expectation is to fulfill everything well before Christmas. You helping me sell it? And now we can get down to business. So I think these recent developments stem from 2 things. 1, their absence at TFCon. 2, some other smaller distributors coming forward saying they won't be carrying them anymore. So I'm going to go through everything that I've heard. I'm going to offer some possibilities regarding things I've been speculating that could be contributing to what's going on. And then we're going to talk about what it could possibly mean. I should also say that my mask being on straight, I'm doing my best. I can't see myself, so I need an assistant. But I should say that this conversation is piggybacking off of our previous conversation. So if you haven't seen that, you probably should. All right, the most important question. Do I think they're shut down? My answer is no. 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 I do not. Why? Because there's absolutely no evidence of them being shut down. There's no reporting from any government source or media source from the area that they've been shut down. And as I've said a few times, we would have heard something about it. The people that I know over there have I've said, look, if that were to have happened, the information regarding it would spread like wildfire. It would be like the shot heard around the world. And since we haven't heard anything, our guess is no. Also, the guy is still posting on TFW. So if they were raided and shut down, he more than likely would have been arrested. And he's still posting. Or someone under his name is posting, I guess you could argue. By the way, that dude's name is JJ, right? Because like the first bit is like the area that you know what I mean, of China that I'm guessing they operate in or are from. And then the second bit is his name, JJ. It's like saying Marilyn Bobby. JJ Shamebrooms. Anyway, another thing I've heard is that they could be working with Hasbro, or Hasbro could be making an attempt to partner with them, or Takara could be making an attempt to partner with them, or they could be buying them out, etc. I don't believe any of that. Why? There's hate there. There's hate between Hasbro and third party. Not so much between third party and Hasbro, but definitely on the side of Hasbro and third party. When I was at Celebration in Chicago last year, I was standing in line with a guy that used to work for Hasbro. He worked, I think, on their Marvel Legends stuff, but he was a fan of Star Wars. We got to talking, and I told him that I was into Transformers and third party, and he said, oh my god. And I said, what? And he said, that is the biggest stink over there. It was something that was talked about all the time. The Transformer guys over there were furious about it. In fact, it was like a common joke around the office of teasing the Transformer department about the third party from other this is what he said. So like that hate is, that feeling there, I think is very real. And Takara, I think, would even be worse, and I'll tell you why. If a guy were to come out and start doing reviewing and conversations regarding Transformers community, culture, and collectibles, and he had 30 subscribers with videos that were doing 10 views, I probably wouldn't think much of it. But the moment that he had 100,000 subscribers with hundreds of thousands of views, I'd probably be like, this motherfucker. And I think that's kind of what's happening there as well. Meaning, I don't think that anybody took them serious, and when I say them, I mean third-party companies, until they started becoming as popular and as highly regarded as they are. Now, in order to really make any sort of definitive claim on that, I'd have to know the numbers, and I'm not privy to the numbers in spite of how hard I try. However, to play devil's advocate, this wouldn't be the first time that official Transformer license has cooperated with people affiliated with third-party. And if you know, then you know. But it wouldn't be the first time. Another thing I heard recently is that they had a customs inspection happen, and that has kind of put them on high alert, and they're basically sitting down for a year. I've heard that. I don't know if that's true. It seems weird to me. Like, for one, what wouldn't they have found, or what would it have found? We don't even know how this stuff really works in regards to the IP over there, because we don't really hear anything about third-party companies getting raided. No, it's always KO companies. And it's a different thing. And they see it differently. If you don't, I'm sorry, but they do. So do I. But that they might be sitting and letting the kind of temperature cool down a bit. I don't know. It doesn't seem, like it doesn't fit right with me, but it could be. I don't know. So let me go into what I think might be going on. And I'm just throwing out ideas. I don't know. So what do we have from their combiners? We have the body and we have the legs on both teams. What don't we have? The arms. When you build combiners, what tends to throw the weight all over the place? The arms. Usually the legs support the torso with no problems. I would imagine, especially when it's going to be built off a skeleton. But the arms are what tends to throw the weight out of whack. And this is their first attempt at a combiner. They could be having issues and they could need to rework things. We have a lot of confidence in their combiners, but that confidence is based off of our confidence in their product, none of which have been combiners. So it could be that they're running into issues, trying something new for the first time, and they don't have it down pat. Could be. I don't know. But that's something that's been sticking out to me. Now, the only caveat to that Robert D pointed out, is that if that were the case, it shouldn't slow up Spindrift 2. And he's right. So that does throw a monkey wrench into that theory. The other thing could be the factory. I've heard rumors and I've seen images that suggest that they are acquiring or have already acquired their own factory. What goes into that? Like just setting it up, facilitating it, staffing it, all the expenses that are necessary, all the machinery you'd have to purchase, and you have to do all of that during COVID. So if that was the plan from the beginning for them, but the Butt Ice virus would have slowed that down, it could have finally just caught up with them. Plus a number number of expenses that would be, and this is on the strength of them actually trying to do this, which we don't know for 100% certain. But taking all of those expenses into consideration, what does it tell us about what they're doing distribution-wise now? The people that are complaining are small Chinese distributors. Seemingly. Small Western distributors haven't been complaining too much. East Coast Toys had a slight problem, but then I think they got it sorted out. Others have gotten it, and I believe most of the big distributors have gotten it, with the exception of BBTS. So it's the same type of folks that are throwing the red flag on this. Now, I've also heard a rumor that Fanstoys has been expecting down payments early in the form of a deposit for orders. That's going to affect the small distributor far more than it's going to affect the big online retailer. Why would they need that money up front? Well, maybe they're working on this factory thing. But that sort of pressure could put a small retailer out of the mix. The financial strain, stress, and impact could be far greater than they can handle, which has led to other people saying, well, perhaps they're going direct to customer. Could be, but it doesn't seem to have impacted their relationship with the bigger dealers or Western dealers that much. So while they might be doing that, they're certainly not cutting off all people distributing their product. The only other thing that ties into that is possible Hasbro Takara pressure on the businesses to not sell. Similarly to they did to the Zeta Unicron. Basically, like, I'm Apple and I'm talking to Best Buy and I'm saying, look, if you continue to carry Samsung phones, I will quit providing you or supplying you with Apple product because I don't want them in the market. That seems feasible. However, you would think that they would pressure the big stores into that as well, and we've heard nothing about that. Unless with stuff like the absence of Toys R Us, the dependency is now far greater on online retailers regarding collector markets, which I think is interesting, that at one point perhaps the big toy companies didn't need the collector-based online retailers, but now they might. Or at least they're not as self-sufficient as they used to be a couple years ago. That's an interesting thing to consider. And that's all I got. So at the end of the day, where do I stand? I think they're around. I think they're going through some challenge. I just heard last night that Smokey won't be delayed all that much, but that's only the first time I've heard that, so I don't know. Something seems to be going on. Whatever that something is, it doesn't seem like a tombstone for the company. It seems like a challenge or a growing pain or an aspect or attribute in regards to them being put in a better position rather than the doom clouds of the nothing rolling over Atreyu. And I was going to get into what that might mean for the future, but I think we've gone on long enough, and we talk about it a bit on Dummy. So we're going to leave that there. One more week to get the Dinobot blanket, and it's done for the possibility of getting it goes away for at least a year, which is fine, but I just get asked about it a lot, and I hate to say I don't have any. And that should do it. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.